Hey dearies, welcome back. Have you ever been to Disney World? Because today we're talking about the dark secrets of Disney, and in one of these stories, a girl literally loses her head. So if you want to keep your head, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn the bell on right now. Trust me, I'll protect you. Imagine if your mom or dad came up to you and said, "Hey, we're going to Disney World." Would that make you excited? Or would you be scared? I'd be scared because this one kid who went to Disney ended up getting oofed by a ride. It was so scary, and I'll show you the video, but make sure to pay attention and watch till the end to stay safe.
Let's talk about another person who lost their life at Disney. So on Friday, September 5th, 2003, 22-year-old Marcelo Torres, he's at Disneyland. He gets on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad coaster. If you don't know much about the ride, here's a picture. It opened in 1979, and it pretty much is just a runaway train, and it rushes through caves, mine shafts with a red rock scenery. There are 5 trains and 5 cars, and riders are arranged 2 across in 3 rows, making a total of 30 riders per train.
Wait a minute. I think I've actually been on a similar ride before. Have you been on this ride?
During this ride, Marcelo's in the front seat, and as they go into the tunnel, the cars separate and go airborne, and then they come slamming into the front train, which pretty much crushes Marcelo. Here's a better look of how it was. He's in that front seat right there that's under the front of the train, and yeah, the force of this impact crushes him, pins him to his seat, and even bends the safety railing of the seat behind him. Another passenger suffered cuts to his face, chest injuries, and broken ribs. 10 total were injured in this, ranging from ages 9 to 47 with mild to moderate injuries. After the crash, the passengers were trapped in the cave for up to an hour while firefighters tried to rescue them.
Firefighters are such great people. I feel like they help more people than the police.
Rescuers had to extricate Marcelo's body from the ride. The cause of the accident was determined to be improper maintenance, and since then, 2 others have lost their lives on this ride, one in 2017 and one in 2023.
Excuse me, what did he say? So after this incident, more people got oofed by this ride? That makes 0 sense because you'd think they'd shut the ride down after the first incident, right? Alright, so as always, I looked into it with my detective eyes and found some stuff out that this TikToker didn't explain. The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a ride based on an actual mine train. In 2003, the train had a loose bolt on one wheel, and that made the train derail from the tracks and crash. This caused 10 injuries and 1 death. Truly sad. After that, Disney apparently fixed it, and this crash never happened again. The other 2 incidents were not because of the ride. In 2017, an old man who already had heart issues went on the ride, and during the ride, his heart became really weak and he passed out. They took him to the hospital, but it was too late. As sad as it is, it's not the ride's fault. And the last incident in 2023 was about a 44-year-old doctor who passed out after the ride ended. Then he had to go to the hospital and passed away at the hospital. So it looks like both of these incidents weren't because of the ride. The ride only crashed once in 2003 and seems to be safe ever since. Both the incident in 2017 and 2023 were due to personal health issues. So, what does this teach us? It teaches us that when we get really old and have heart problems, we shouldn't ride scary rides like roller coasters. These rides literally make your heart jump, kinda like a jump scare.
Interesting fact. When a Disney employee dies while in their suit at the Disney theme park, another employee must sit them on a bench so it looks like they're just sitting down until closing time. So all those pictures of happy children sitting next to Disney characters are really dead.
This is a creepy statement that's going around on TikTok, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it because I don't believe it. It sounds too insane. Let's watch this dude talk about it first. Then I'll figure out the dark truth.
You know what? I'm going to save you guys a little bit of time today, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not true. This is a simple 2-image slideshow that I got tagged in, starting off by saying, did you know that when somebody dies at Disneyland, they place them on a bench to make it look like they're resting? Now, to be quite honest, this is a rumor that I've heard before, and this TikTok slideshow actually doesn't have the correct variation of it. The true rumor is that when a person that's inside of one of the suits dies, they place them on the bench until closing time, so it looks like they're resting, and then they deal with the person who passed away inside of the suit. When you think about it, this would have terrifying implications. These character mascots are oftentimes spotted sitting on these benches. Kids and families will come up and take photos with them. So the implication here is that the kids and families are taking photos with corpses unintentionally.
Definitely horrifying, but very hard to believe. This sounds like a made-up story, but let's see what's really going on.
Fortunately though, this idea is not based in reality. If a suited employee did end up passing away while working, and that's a big if, the odds of that happening are very low, the proper emergency personnel would be called, an ambulance would show up on scene, and they would try to administer life-saving treatment. In addition to this rumor was popularized back in 2014 from creepypasta, and we all know how realistic creepypasta is.
Creepypasta is about as realistic as my drive to live. I'm kidding. I'm actually pretty happy. I got pizza today. Anyway, this story was created as a joke on the old website called Tumblr by a user named Satansmy. Their account is deleted now, so it was kinda hard to find this page. Maybe the evil mouse from Disney got him for making up this rumor. But even though that isn't true, this other rumor might be.
The only Disneyland rumor that I could think of that might actually have some basis in reality that's similar to this is the one where people say Disney doesn't allow people to die on their grounds. Essentially, if somebody's in the process of passing away, they will attempt to resuscitate them, but while they do that, they try to get them off the premises so they don't legally die on the premises. You know, this could be based in reality. There's no official statement on this. It's mostly just anecdotal statements from people that used to work there, but who knows?
Who knows? I knows. I mean, I can take a good guess by looking at the evidence. First of all, if someone's about to be RIP'd and needs medical attention, Disney employees quickly rush them out of the park and into a hospital. That's why people don't pass away in Disney, because the rescuers move really fast. And lastly, in July 2018, a Disney worker got stuck under a utility cart, which crushed him to his end, and the news reported that he passed away at Disney. So, yeah, this whole idea that no one passes away at Disney is a myth. You better be careful the next time you go to Disney. I'm gonna stick to Wonderland. Do you remember the scariest ride you've been on? One time my friend told me about the roller coaster at this old amusement park he went to last summer. He said the ride stopped halfway up the hill and everything went quiet. Then he heard someone behind him whisper, "Don't look back." Obviously he looked back and he said there was someone sitting in the seat behind him even though he was the only rider that day. I just looked at him and said, "That's weird," because that park was shut down 20 years ago. So either he's lying or he went to some haunted park. Anyway, in Disney, there's this one ride that got shut down for being way too terrifying. Let's take a look.
Disney used to operate a ride so psychologically damaging that it literally had to be wiped from existence. I'm talking about the original 1971 Snow White's Adventures, and the Imagineers who designed this ride must have really hated children. For decades, kids ran off this ride crying and parents were furious. Why, you ask? Because Snow White wasn't even on the ride. Disney's logic was that you were Snow White, which sounds cute until you realize that meant you were being hunted by a homicidal witch for 3 straight minutes in total darkness. This was basically a Saw movie for toddlers. There were trees with glowing eyes that literally lunged at your car while screaming bloody murder. Just look at this. I would need therapy after riding this ride. But the absolute worst part was the cottage scene you see here. Something about those terrifying faces on the furniture and animals is just deeply disturbing. Disney eventually realized they had accidentally built a horror attraction, so they removed the whole thing in 2012, and now it's Princess Fairy Tale Hall in Magic Kingdom. Let me know in the comments if you think you would have survived this ride.
I would have definitely survived this ride, but I'd go straight to jail because if a witch starts running at me, I'm fighting back. The original was actually called Snow White's Scary Adventure, so clearly Disney was intentionally making it scary. Unfortunately, they made it too scary, and adorable little kids like you got too scared. Oh, that's okay. You'll get braver when you get older. Beep, boop, bop. I am a robot. No, I'm not, and I'm also not subscribed to Disney Plus. Are you? You know when you download or buy a product, you have these super long rules that show up and you have to click accept? They're called terms of service. Disney Plus also has these terms, and apparently they can kill you if you accept. So if you want to stay safe and watch Disney, make sure to watch this till the end.
Disney employees can legally kill you if you have Disney Plus. That is what Disney is trying to argue right now. So if you haven't heard, this doctor took a vacation and she and her husband went to Disney World. And in one of the restaurants, she ordered food, but told the servers multiple times that she had a nut allergy. And to make sure they make the necessary accommodations, she obviously doesn't die. And they told her multiple times that they would take care of it and that there were no nuts used in the cooking of her food.
Nut allergies are extremely serious because if you eat nuts and have this allergy, your body can't breathe and just gets KO'd.
There were no nuts used in the cooking of her food. Well, they lied. And she went into anaphylactic shock and died. And now the family is trying to sue Disney for wrongful death because their negligence led to this woman's unnecessary death. Well, Disney is trying to say that in their terms and conditions for Disney Plus, they basically have a clause in there that says you can't sue me. So Disney is trying to get the lawsuit completely thrown out because they had a Disney Plus subscription. Mind you, the family is allegedly only suing for $50,000. Disney is a multi-billion-dollar corporation and is one of the biggest companies in the world. $50,000 to Disney is like the spare change you leave at the cash register because you couldn't be bothered to put those pennies in your pocket. But Disney is trying to make a statement, and if this actually goes through and the case gets thrown out, pretty much every company is going to start adding "you can't sue me" in their terms and conditions so they can legally end your life with no repercussions. That's crazy.
That is crazy. But beyond that, it's super wrong and immoral. That's like saying, oh, adorkable, you have a Costco membership, so if you get oofed in Costco because we accidentally fed you poison, you can't sue us. Nah, I'm gonna become a ghost and haunt them. Talking about ghosts, let's talk about Walt Disney. Oof, was that too soon? The guy who created Disney is named Walt, and he passed away a long time ago, but he froze his head for some reason. Kinda weird, but let's see why he did it.
Let's talk about Walt Disney's frozen head. There's a theory that Walt Disney froze his head and it's under Disneyland, so when we have the technology to bring people back to life, they can unfreeze his head and put him on a body. I'm not even sure who came up with this theory, but it goes deep. People also claim the movie Frozen was titled that and released so that Walt Disney's frozen head would not come up on the Google search first. If that's true, that's like a high IQ move from Disney. Makes me kind of want to go underground to Disneyland. Now, why would he want his head to be unfrozen, and what body would this even go onto? It would most likely go onto some sort of animatronic. This would be like some crazy Five Nights at Freddy's type of remix. I highly doubt they're keeping his head in a jar like Diogo Alves in the last video I posted. But nonetheless, if this is true, this is absolutely insane. But if anybody has the money and the technology to do this, it's the US government and Disney. Do you guys think Walt Disney will be unfrozen and brought back to life in the future? Let me know in the comment section. My opinion is that his brain would not survive this long frozen. It would be literally useless. He'd be a vegetable if they unfroze him. But let me know your thoughts.
Did Walt Disney freeze his head? The answer is no. If you freeze your body, it basically stops working and can't ever recover, because when you're frozen, all the cells in your body die. Unfreezing wouldn't bring him back to life. This is an old urban legend, and the only reason it was made up was because Walt has a lot of fans that were sad when he passed, so they kind of made up a fantasy and hope he comes back. I think that's creepy though. Okay, dearies, let me know in the comments below if you've been to Disney before, and if it's fun or not, cause I've never been. Also, make sure to subscribe with the bell on and like the video. It really helps. Thanks for watching. Toodles!